Great Debaters Contest is brought to you by Safaricom M-Pesa.
Pristine beaches and clear blue skies. We're in the Mombasa region for the Great Debaters Contest. I'm Austin Nyumbo.
And I am Mariam Bishar. And today we have the lovely ladies of Kombeni going versus their veritable opponents, St. George's High School. And they're debating on something that is close to all of our hearts. Should technology and innovation be made compulsory in schools? We'll have them take the stage now. First proposer, you have 3 minutes.
It is in the plans of the current government to make it all the laptops available to standard 1 students or pupils. And the question I want to pose right now is, if the government can see the need for a standard 1 pupil to have a laptop in class, what about a secondary school? Is it not the high time where technology and innovation is made compulsory in our schools? 1, technology is the use of scientific knowledge in a practical way. We've dealt so much in the theory part. At least the government puts it that any student in secondary schools should be able to at least do 1 science subject. But is it not ironical to have all this science knowledge and yet you cannot be allowed to practically practice it in the same institution? As they say that they're preparing us for a better tomorrow. But how are we prepared for a better tomorrow if the science we have in theory, we cannot apply it outside there practically? And the world we are living today isn't more about theory, but how you can do what you say you can. Innovation is the invention of new ways, ideas that are efficient and easy to operate. For this time now, we are concerned with how much efficient is your system, how much efficient is your working. That's what we look upon these days. We are not in a world where we just consider people working. No. We want to see people working and working good and efficiently. And this can only be done if technology and innovation is made a must in our secondary schools. There is one very key advantage that comes with technology and innovation in our schools today that I want to put it across. This is independent learning. If technology is transformed from the passive to the active, and the students are able to use these technological gadgets in school, they'll have an access to information from the internet. And now the internet helps you to learn a skill known as independent learning. The other thing is about communication. Technology and innovation improves on our communications. In our schools today, they are not like the old schools where they had a population of 3 to maybe 500 students. We have schools holding to a population of even more than 1,000 students. And the link between the administration and the student is only through the notice board. And not all students walk to the notice board to read that. But if we have this technology and innovation be made compulsory, then the administration can address the students easily and more quick. Thank you so much. I'm Main Isaac.
Opposition, you have 3 minutes for your opening statements.
Okay, I say technology is not bad. It's good. And I say that, let me start by giving kudos to Faraday's, who came up with this electricity stuff, because we all know that no technology can go on without electricity. Thank you, Faraday's. But let's keep in mind that technology has very many disadvantages. I'm Florence Masha from Kombeni Girls. I'd like to educate you and tell you why I strongly and firmly disagree with this motion that technology and innovation should be compulsory in second school. I don't think so. Why? Because of the extra costs and the maintenance costs that will be incurred. Take an example where I come from, back in my home, back in my village, back in the rural areas. I don't come from town like most of you do. I come from the rural areas where electricity to us and to most students who are in secondary schools, especially in the day schools, see electricity as a dream to them. So if you tell me that you want to start bringing computers, laptops to a secondary girls or boy that doesn't have any clue or any idea about electricity or that device, you know it's going to take time for him or her first to get advanced to the computer. How? It's for him to see computer. It's the first time for him or her to see it. And you know how someone we say that someone who is not yet advanced to something. So for her to get used to that thing, it's time consuming. And when I tell you about extra course, what I mean is that we need to get teachers, qualified teachers, that are going to teach this technology to those students. Where are we going to get teachers? First of all, teachers that are literate, especially in computers. Where? Secondly, I like to talk about health complications. Technology is good, but ever thought of the complications in your health? Most of you like using technology. You go to the cyber cafes, you like going to the internet, doing your stuff and all that. But do you know that at the end of the day, that your health is deteriorating? Do you know that at the end of the day, when you go to, some of you, I know most of you are putting on spectacles. Do you know why? And especially those who are addicted to computers and mobile phones. Do you know why? Because the more you get addicted to the computer and the mobile phone, the more you deteriorate your health. You get problems with your eyes. And if my biology and physics serves me right, that the more you put on glasses, the more you get addicted to your computer, you look at the computers daily, the more your health deteriorates. Yeah? So, I don't really agree with this whole stuff of technology in secondary school. I really disagree. And always remember that all that glitters is not gold. And remember also, old is gold. Thank you.
We'll now hear rebuttals. Proposers, you have 3 minutes.
From the St. George's High School, I am Victor Fleming. And I'm here to propose the motion that says technology and innovation should be compulsory in secondary schools. First and foremost, I'd like to say this. Entertainment, that is my first point. If we embrace technology in our schools and innovation, that means that at our own free times of entertaining ourselves as students, we will have a vast way of entertaining ourselves. As we all know that everybody has his or her own way of entertaining him or herself. So if we embrace technology and innovation in all secondary school, that only means that if we are in school, there's time for everything, as we all know. After our studies, we'll have a time to rest and a time to entertain ourselves. So we'll have a vast way of entertaining ourselves. Everybody knows where to go and entertain himself because the technology has been brought to the secondary school. My second point is that it will nurture talent. Why do I say so? Let me take you back to Julius Diego, the best world thrower javelin. He has thrown 91 plus meters. And how did he nurture his talent? He nurtured his talent from technology. It all began with the YouTube challenge. Diego knew that he had a talent, but how did he nurture it? It is because of the technology that it is because of the technology that helps him nurture the talent, and he is who he is right now. He, in the World Beijing this year, he threw 91 plus meters away, and it is the third best in the world of all time. My third point is that it will reduce risk of school fires. Why do I say so? As we all know that in all marketplaces, there is a mad person. And as students in our schools, we have school rules and regulations. And the school rules and regulations do not allow students to carry technological gadgets or electronic gadgets into the schools. That only means that some students are forced to carry these things illegally to the schools. And if they carry these technological gadgets to the school illegally, that means that these things need to be recharged. And when they want to recharge the gadgets, they will have to tamper with the electricity wires so as to charge these gadgets and to use them. And in this experience, as they're trying to cut the wires and connect their gadgets, that only means that it might trigger an electricity fire, and it will cause havoc to the people. And if we embrace technology and innovation in our schools, that only means that these things will be eradicated like school fires. Thank you.
Opposition, you also have 3 minutes for your cross-examination.
I'm Beatrice Sely from Kombeni Girls. First and foremost, I love to disagree with the point that my fellow proposer talked about having to learn about technology while in school, and when we come out of there, we are illiterate, as in we are literate in the technology and we can be able to get job. And it also helps in getting the work is being made more efficient. So, come to think of it, how many people are unemployed out there? Many youths are unemployed, and this is going to lead to many cases of crime rates. So, I totally disagree, because if the technology that people are studying in the secondary schools is employed, people are going to get self-employment. And when you talk of efficiency of work, it means the work is going to be made better, and that means you'll only go for the machines. And compared to the manpower and the machines do better than the people. So why will you go to employ people when you have the machines you have, and you can get to employ less people because it's less costly. So when you talk about technology making the work being efficient, it's going to cause unemployment, because many people are going to not get employed. On to my first point, when you talk about technology and innovation to be compulsory in secondary schools, how many times have you ever found yourself your eyes being glued to your phone, that you don't even realize that you are supposed to alight at a certain stage, or maybe you were busy cooking and you totally forgot about the food that was in the kitchen and gets burned? Why is that so? Addiction. When you talk about technology, it brings about addiction. Now, take an example. We have the computers and everything back at our schools because it's made compulsory. Do you think I'm going to try to attend the classes when I have something that is more interesting going on the computer? There's no way that I'm going to do that. So that is going to make me sit there and just continue watching whatever I'm watching, or continue researching on whatever is researching, because it's much more interesting. And that is going to make me not do well in my academics, because the teacher is much more important than whatever I'm doing. I'm not going to get to hear the bell when it rings for the classes because of addiction. Secondly, when you talk about time consuming, we are talking about technology and innovation. Innovation, it comes about, let's say in secondary schools, about the science fairs, whereby you have to sit down, come up with a plan of what you want to do. If it's about the science fair, you have to read about the topic and everything, and you have to do that according to the preparation. So that is all time consuming when it comes to the innovation. Thank you.
What would I do without M-Pesa? Drawing me closer to Safaricom. And I know that I'll be alright with M-Pesa.
Take part in the M Challenge by sending your short song, rap or poem about Safaricom M-Pesa on WhatsApp, and you could win 1,000 shillings in Safaricom airtime.
So the teams on stage will be responding to the questions. The proposition have been asked what they plan on doing about the negative effects of technology in schools. And the opposition have been asked, are teachers not techno-savvy, or do they not have technological know-how? We'll have them respond. Proposer number 3, you have 3 minutes.
On stage today is Franklin Duria from St. George's High School. Basing on the question that has been asked right now concerning negative effects of technology in schools. For example, students accessing to information that is irrelevant in their studies. I just wanted to let you know that nowadays technology, wherever it has advanced, surely there are controls which in a particular institution can be made, whereby if it's to surf in the internet for only educational issues. An organization, for example, a school, is able to put some limits in the internet today. If you've not known, that is so. In my opposer side, you've made many comments concerning the technology and innovation in schools. And it is as if now you're saying that life without technology is good. Surely, let me tell you one thing. It is not enough to be good when you can be the best. And it is never not enough. It is also never enough to be good when you can be great. Why do we talk of other countries advancing in technology? Why do we do so? One of the opposers has mentioned about Science Congress. Thank you for that point, because Science Congress today, I'm a member in that club. And surely, one must surf the internet in order to find information concerning the project that he or she is working on. So you see the importance of technology and innovations in secondary schools. So that is one. And as somebody does or carries out the research, maybe surfing in the internet, looking for points and various issues related to the project, it also equips somebody with a diverse, source of information in terms of education is far much concerned. We are normally used to the textbooks in classes, which sometimes seem to be boring, and also to the teachers. They might sometime look for information in textbooks and maybe by bad luck fail to get the information from the textbooks. So surely, technology and innovation, if it is made compulsory in all schools, it will remedy this problem that is caused by a lack of information in schools. 2, technology and innovation introduces students to career skills. Let me just have a living example. If maybe I want to take ICT, computer literate, I must be, of course, computer literate, meaning I must have at least some knowledge in ICT when it is taught in schools, that is, if it is made compulsory in schools. For those points, thank you.
Opposition, you have 3 minutes to respond to the audience.
The same way you can't take a CRE teacher to teach biology will be the same way a biology teacher won't be suit enough to do computer studies, or rather to teach computer studies. Well, not because the teacher didn't do computer studies after 4th form, no, but it takes knowledge, understanding, and and how to teach that subject. So I think through that, I've answered the girl from St. John's. Thank you. The moment I set my eyes on this title, I was really shocked. My attention was caught on should and compulsory, the words. Why should we forcefully invent something, or rather implement something that at the end of the day is going to bring more effects to our country? So I'm thinking the government has to finance, or rather to try to take part in the financing of the technology and devices that are going to be used in the secondary schools. And this calls for money that right now the government is finding, finding in financing the teachers. So I think teachers should be even the straight line, forefront with me, seconding me in this motion, opposing it, that technology and innovation should be made compulsory in secondary schools. All trying to favor you. I'm trying to fight for your rights. Thank you. And one other thing also, it has actually caught most of our attention that drug addiction has spread in, more specifically, the coastal region. But then as I was trying to find out, or rather according to my research, 65% of the total number of people getting addicted to drugs are school dropouts, secondary school dropouts, and 35% of those, 35 out of that, the remaining 35% are only the people who find it so difficult, or rather out of desperations and some problems they face in life, so they find it better to engage themselves in things that are going to put them calm. So I was thinking, how how is the drug addiction coming into place? And then I found out that Jamaica is one of the countries that take bang as just a sedative, I might say. I might put it that way, if I may put it that way, a sedative. The same way we take cigarettes as a relax, something we can take just to relax our minds. It's the same way Jamaica takes bang. But then now, when we come to Kenya and use bang, we don't use it in the way they use it there, or rather, they use it in another way. So it's out of the internet, improper use of the internet. They get knowledge of how they use it there, and that's why they try to engage themselves in the drug addiction. Thank you. Elizabeth Muganga from Kombeni Girls High School.
We'll now hear closing statements. Proposition, you have 1 minute.
I want you to take this home. He who lacks a sense to technology and innovation today is not living a real life. Technology has gone far much beyond to be assumed or rather to be taken as just a thing to do away with. You have to embrace technology. Like right now here, it is full of technology. We are using this, we are able to communicate to you because of technology. So, 21st century needs people who can use technology very efficiently and use the scientific knowledge put to you theoretically into practice. That means that you'll be able to fit into the other world out there that is living a real world and not a theory world. If we don't make this compulsory, we may end up living in a world of theories. Yet, the world needs people who are practical. You can only get practical in this world if you let technology be part and parcel of yourself. Thank you so much.
Opposition, you have a minute as well.
My fellow opponents, yeah, thank you for airing out your views about that technology is good. Yes, it is good, really. But first, to begin with myself, I say no, it's not good. Because right now, whatever we are using here is all technology. But let me tell you, it's really irritating. How? Because the lights that are all around here are really irritating my eyes. And you know why I'm standing on this? Because I need to use this device is all about technology. So I have to be lifted up for me to use your technology. So is it really helping me? No, I don't think so. And if you claim that you're moving to Vision 2030, are you thinking of the disease, the health, how our health is deteriorating? Like I give an example on putting on spectacles. And I told you that the more you put on the spectacles, the more your vision deteriorates. So who knows that coming Vision 2030, the government will be spending a lot of money buying brailles because most of you will be braille. Who knows? Thank you.
Does technology and innovation just necessarily mean gadgets? You know, there was a lot of there was a lot of examples on just gadgets being what we call technology and innovation. But I think technology and innovation goes just beyond the gadgets that we may have, the laptops, the phones, okay, to many other things. Because innovation in itself can be of very diverse fields, even in farming and the rest of the things. So I felt there was a lot of narrowing down at some point in terms of the motion. And so I wouldn't say that there was justice to the motion, because even case studies were lacking. So all the best to the two teams.
I think the challenge that the two teams had was the fact that you focused a lot more on technology and not on innovation. And the problem starts with the fact that, in terms of deconstructing the motion, there was no clear definition of terms. When we talk about innovation as a process of translating an idea or an invention into a good or service that creates value, and having to make this compulsory so that you have new methods, new ideas, new products, transformative thinking should be made compulsory in all secondary schools alongside technology. So when you look at it that way, then you're looking at it broadly rather than just focusing on technology like the two teams did. And even in technology, I think the emphasis was mainly on computers and on mobile phones. But technology is a lot more broader than those two aspects. In terms of deconstructing the motion, there was a problem there, and then there was so much emphasis on technology and very little on looking at innovation. All the best to the two schools.
Kombeni Girls Secondary School, the judges awarded you 64%. Please give them a round of applause. St. George's High School, the judges awarded you 65%. You're our winners for the debates.
Bravo to St. George's High School, but of course a spirited effort from Kombeni. We'd like to thank all of you for watching and tuning into the Great Debaters Contest. I am Mariam Bishar.
And I am Austin Nyambok. Catch you next time.
The Great Debaters Contest was brought to you by Safaricom M-Pesa.